Auburn, like, it looked a little bit scary there for 19 minutes, and then all of a sudden, the final minute of the first half, they go on that run to go up by 10 by halftime, and then it was all Auburn Tigers after then. But even with that, and we had Jeff Goodman on earlier on during the show in our third hour, like, it wasn't that impressive.
Jeff Goodman fielded 68. He'll be on with us tomorrow on the show as well.
Like, it wasn't that impressive by the Auburn Tigers, even though they end up winning in blowout fashion, at least on the score. So Auburn, once again, puts out another result that is not really worthy of where they have been for the large portion of this season.
So we are starting to get now some second-round matchups, and we can project, like the presidential election. We can, you bet can now project.
We can project.
We are going to get Auburn and Creighton in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So first game today on Thursday, and again, like these games have stunk.
Yeah.
Like bet results notwithstanding, there's been no madness so far today. Hopefully we get some coming up tonight. But Auburn-Creighton's going to be on Saturday. Creighton in the first game today takes care of business, thrashes Louisville. Kalkbrenner looks great. Their point guard, Stephen Ashworth, looks great. And we have a betting market, right, Femi, for Auburn and Creighton. What is it and what do you like? Like an early thought on that game on Saturday.
So it initially opened Auburn a 10.5-point favorite, but we are now down to Auburn 9.5. So as we talked about, like off the air, on the air, the initial move has gone to the Creighton Blue Jays, which is just a tricky matchup with Creighton's big guy. If you haven't watched the Blue Jays play,
that was so obvious that Creighton was going to get bet.
Especially because you knew it was going to be around that double-digit range. If you're going to give somebody 10.5, but they're a Creighton team that's not great, but they are a little bit of a weird matchup because like they have a 7'1" guy in Ryan Kalkbrenner, 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the
awesome.
Year. Like he is awesome.
Great name too.
Oh, great name. And he's going up against Janai Broome, who's one of the contenders to win National Player of the Year. He's a consensus All-American. So that matchup on the interior is going to be really fun to watch, and I could see a lot of people, and myself included, gravitating towards the Creighton Blue Jays just from a point spread standpoint. I think Auburn will advance, but I do think it's going to be a tricky matchup for the Tigers who, you know, Bruce Pearl teams with expectations, it can get a little bit shaky at times.
So, you'll hear the expression, like our listeners and viewers, right, when you listen to or watch betting content, like a public dog. And just because there's a public dog or a public favorite does not mean that team can't win or cover. That stuff is largely just interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
I think Creighton's going to be a public underdog in that game, which doesn't mean they can't win. I'm going to be on the other side of that game, and I think Auburn kind of like snapped out of it a little bit. And I'm not just talking, Femi, about snapping out of just playing poorly in the first half of this game today against Alabama State. Bama wins the regular season in the SEC. When Tennessee beat Alabama on that buzzer beater, right? And they have the video of them on the bus going crazy.
Yeah.
And then it feels like, I don't even think it feels like it, like they did take their foot off the accelerator a little bit, lose 3 of 4 to end the regular season, lose to Tennessee in the semifinals of the SEC tournament. It feels like to me, watching the game, like the switch got flipped a little bit for Auburn. I actually think they're going to annihilate Creighton in this game on Saturday.
I mean,
I love Auburn in the game.
Think about it. Auburn on March 1st beat Kentucky and Lexington. They clinched the number 1 overall seed that day. So they really haven't had much to play for over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it would make sense that a group of 18 to 23-year-olds would just be kind of like on cruise control waiting for the big boy, which is the NCAA tournament. And, yeah, it started off a little bit shaky for them in the first half, but they really flexed their muscles a little bit. Although I will still say it doesn't look as impressive as they looked at earlier points this season. So I think it's a fascinating betting market. I think it's not just going to be recreational bettors that are looking at Creighton. I think there's going to be respected bettors, too.
I totally agree with
I think it's a lot of people. I think respected bettors have been looking to fade this Auburn team.
Agreed.
And I think we're going to see that all throughout tomorrow and then early on Saturday whenever the game ends up tipping off.